The Knicks kick off the NBA season tonight up in Boston, and you guys already know all about the Knicks-Celtics rivalry, so let's welcome our New York Post Knicks beat writer, Stefan Bondy, to break down the new-look Knicks. No longer the Nova Knicks, the new-look Knicks. Stefan, game 1 of 82, my man. You excited? Showtime, baby.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been covering this team for, almost a decade, and this is the highest expectations of any team I've covered. So, yeah, I mean, 1 of 82 is pretty exciting.
So let's go into those expectations. What are the expectations with all the moves they did in the offseason? What are the expectations for this year's Knicks team?
Well, I mean, even before they made the karl-Anthony Towns trade, the expectation was conference finals. Because anytime you get to the second round twice in a row, which they did, and fall short, the next step is what? Is getting to the following round, which is the conference finals. And keep in mind, this franchise has not made the conference finals. We're not talking about the NBA finals. We're talking about the conference finals. They have not made the conference finals since Bill Clinton was the president. So even if they take that step, I think it's a big deal. Listen, you can talk about championships in the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics are still in their way. There's a element to this Knicks roster where you can say, listen, they were built to beat the Celtics. When you look at OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges on the wings to guard Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but I don't think you can go into the season saying, yeah, we're definitely going to beat the Celtics because they're the champs. I think they're still the favorites to come out of the East, but the expectation for sure for the Knicks is conference finals.
Like you said, you've covered this team for a decade now, for a long time. Is it safe to say that this is the best Knicks team on paper that you've seen in recent years?
Yeah, I mean, as far as skills and stars, yeah, I think, where we're going to have to see where the season goes is the identity. They lost some of their identity in all the turnover that's happened in the past year. And a lot of that was predicated on bully ball, on grabbing the offensive rebounds, protecting the paint. This team is different. I think they're more, they're a space and pace team. They're a 3-point shooting team. They added skill, they added shooting. So I think we're going to get a completely different style than what you're accustomed to the last couple of years, certainly last season. But as far as just overall talent, yes, this is the best team that I've covered. And I didn't cover the 54-win team from 2012, 2013. I came up 2 seasons later. But I think this team is even better than that one.
And I know it's only been preseason, but is there anything or any area that this team is lacking at coming out of the preseason that could possibly be a problem as the regular season gets going?
Well, I mean, there are a couple concerns. I mean, the preseason was good in that they went 4-1, but a couple problems emerged. One being Mikal Bridges' shot. I think he shot 11% on 3-pointers in the preseason, including going 0 for 10 in that preseason finale. And he talked about how he didn't feel comfortable with his shooting form, and he's tried to tweak it. He's something he's been trying to tweak since Villanova, and you can see the difference when he's shooting out there. So, him shooting 10% is not going to cut it. I don't think he will. But whatever's happening with his form and whatever's happening, with his confidence in that area, that needs to fix. And then the defense wasn't good. They played offensive. They played great offensively in a lot of areas. Jalen Brunson was fantastic in the preseason. But defensively, they're going to have to pick it up, and, that's going to be a work in progress.
When we talk about Bridges' shot, it's, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and not saying he's old, but is it too late to try and fix that going into the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. You never want to get inside somebody's head, but if it's something more if it's more so confidence than actually really the shooting form needs to be changed. I think, there are a lot of things that go into shooting a 3-pointer at a high clip. It's the same as when you're up at bat in Major League Baseball. There's a lot of things going up here. There's a lot of repetition that needs to be involved. I don't want to say that it's too late for Mikal Bridges to fix his shot or get rid of his hitch, because that's something that him and his trainers and the Knicks coaching staff are going to work on. But, if you look at the percentage, that's the bottom line. That's all that matters. And it obviously needs to be better than 11%.
Yeah, I agree on that confidence thing. It's the same thing in football. If you catching the ball is all confidence. Like, it's not, there's hand-eye, but then when you feel like you got the juice, man, it's like you got stickum on your hands. All right, goes down tonight. Celtics, again, to start the season off. How does this new Knicks team match up against the defending champs?
Well, I think they match up well. They didn't play them well last season, but this is a completely different team, like we mentioned, and you can't look at this Knicks roster now and the construction and not say that Leon Rose didn't have the Celtics in mind. I think he did have the Celtics in mind, because when you look at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and then you match them up with OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart, and then you throw in Derek White, I think though that's a pretty good matchup, as good a matchup in the NBA that you can have against the Celtics. And then, Karl-Anthony Towns can bring Kristaps Porzingis. I realize Kristaps Porzingis is hurt now, but when he comes back, he can bring Kristaps Porzingis away from the rim, not letting him be the rim protector where he's good in that paint. So I think they match up pretty well. I still think the Celtics, like I said before, are the favorite to win the East and actually win the championship. But just in terms of matchups, I think nobody in the Eastern Conference matches up better against the Celtics than the Knicks.
All right, after that game goes down, we got the Lakers versus the T-Wolves. LeBron and Bronny are going to make history. From one media guy and dad to the next, what's your thoughts on those two being the first father-son duo to play in an NBA game?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, and it's also really a testament to what LeBron James has done, because he's not just 40 years old, but he's still one of the best players in the NBA. It's just been an incredible career. And then, listen, it's not nearly the same thing, but I got to work with my father at the New York Daily News, and that was pretty cool. So I have an appreciation for what it's like to be working alongside your direct blood like that. It's pretty cool. So, props to LeBron for his career and being able to play with his son, because like you said, it's going to happen.
Yep. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad was the defensive line coach at Boston College. I was the ball boy. So me and my brother were on the sidelines, and it was like, Scoot, get out, back up before you get us a penalty. It was like, all right, Dad. But yeah, man, it's history in the making. And like you said, as fathers now who got to learn from our dads, man, it's absolutely going to be a treat to watch tonight. All right, Stefan, I know you got to get over to the TD Garden Arena. Good luck tonight, man, and thanks for hopping on with us.
All right, man. Anytime.